Hello, we are Renaissance Consulting. My name is Alan, and these are my colleagues, Semi, Olga, and Korosh. We are here to present PODS, the Predictive On-Demand Support Solution for L3Harris. This solution is able to reduce worker maintenance hours by 2.5 every day, as well as reduce operational maintenance by 50% overall. When we first were given this problem, we understood we had to find the root causes, and we looked to see what L3Harris and other ISS providers' greatest pain points were. We found that there was inefficient gathering of machine health data, paperwork organization, which led to inability to inflated costs, it led to wasted time, and it as well leads to misallocation of resources. Fundamentally, this exists because of a lack of information communication technology, and L3Harris must adapt this technology to empower their technicians, specialists, and command. So when we did this, we understood the first thing to do was look at the current technologies available. We found 6 technologies across 3 different times of adoption. We found emerging, growing, and matured. The emerging adoption is high risk because of the high investment and lack of use cases. On the other hand, the matured solutions offer many use cases but risk obsolescence. The developing solutions, on the other hand, have an ability to develop new use cases with their growing state. So what are the requirements that we use to select our alternatives? We found that it was critical to reduce maintenance, enhance operability, be platform agnostic, have a 10-year time frame for implementation, be reliable, and fully scalable. So what are alternatives we came out with? The Internet of Things, 3D printing, augmented reality, and robotic diagnostics. These are all technologies that are ready to affect the industry over the next 10 years, but the market is ready for disruption today. Semi?
I'll take that from here. Okay, so to evaluate these options, we determined 5 categories that would be the most significant. Those are cost savings, capital requirements, repair downtime, safety and reliability, and operational readiness. Scoring each option through 3D printing, AR, and robotic diagnostics from 1 to 7, it was deemed that augmented reality would be the best solution. And just to touch on the strategic market analysis and where we are, the top defense companies such as Boeing, Thales, and Lockheed Martin actually already have their own predictive maintenance technologies. And not only that, but individual technology companies, like a company called C3AI, provides these solutions to other companies, and we'll get into them later. So not only that, there are AR company technologies like Microsoft and Texi that provide that augmented reality support. And we don't just want to provide solutions for predictive maintenance, but we want to solve the problems of predictive maintenance and on-demand support that are going to dominate in the next 10 years. Integrating these two would put L3Harris in a unique market position, and that brings us to the solution. PODS, Predictive On-Demand Support, is a technology that leverages advanced data analytics through IoT devices, augmented reality technology through a headset, controlled through interactive interfacing. But what does it do? First, it gives you the power of predictive maintenance so that you know the insights of when problems are going to happen before they do. But we know insights are sometimes difficult to act upon. That's why we want action, and we use the augmented reality headset to act as your virtual on-demand tech support, guiding you through a diagnostics in real time based on established documentation, schematics, and procedures. What you get is a solution that essentially lets almost anyone do diagnostics anywhere.
To understand PODS better, let me take you through the user case. Firstly, PODS detect and predict a malfunction using the predictive maintenance. This maintenance is implemented by IoT data gathering as well as machine learning. Our PODS will use the off-the-shelf solution from C3AI company, which already has the implementation of predictive maintenance through the IoT data gathering of all components of the ship. This is just an example how C3 interface sends the alarms and notification about the maintenance. The next step, after we receive the notification, our staff member will investigate the problem using virtual manual. The virtual manual is the augmented reality solution which is implemented using Microsoft HoloLenses. The augmented reality is deploying the virtual images over the real-world objects. Our AR solution will be able to be your virtual tech assistant as well as a virtual tech assistant, as well as provide with manuals and guided solutions. Virtual manual has multiple functions. Firstly, it provides a virtual documentation, which are manuals and schematic, which could be displayed right next to the real components. The next one is the video communication with specialists at the base. Imagine we're on a ship which has a 6 months mission and the core component goes down. The onboard team cannot solve the problem because of the high specificity. But our AR solution allows us to communicate with the specialist in the real time through the video communication. The specialist will see the actual solution, the actual problem, provide the solution, and we will be able to fix it. The last but not least is virtual assistant. We will go into that further. Our AI solution resolves the problem by fixing it, consulting off the side, or catching the false positive. It is very scalable and highly customized. In any case in industry, we can pick the related 3D models, schematics, and components. We can upload and store them in our manual database. From that database, our AR solution will pull out the information and overlay it over a real situation, providing the virtual assistants. The virtual assistants will compare the current situation, what it sees, with the desired from the database. If they're not equal, it will highlight the differences and say the instructions of what have to be taken. If they will be visually equal, it will provide the list of the common problems, and then will guide you one by one through the problems until we fix the problem or exhausting all the most common cases. For example, if the root cause of one of the problems is a connector, it will highlight the connector, say the instructions, and the staff member can actually check it and solve the problem.
So quickly, how are we going to implement all of this? First, it starts with the predictive maintenance that's enabled by the IoT infrastructure. That's the data backbone that is mandatory for all of this. Next, it goes into the AR software development so that virtual display can be developed and used. Next, where are we going to get the data from? That's the database generation, pulling the established 3D models of machinery, ships, planes, as well as other components and schematics in the virtual manual. Finally, we go into training and administration to get people caught up with this. That's understandable, so we can finally get the early adopters and begin releasing full scale. Really, POD solves 3 critical problems. It's to reduce duration of work activity, improved efficiency, and enhanced operability. So 2.5 hours. That's the average time a worker spends per day searching for documentation. And when polled, 49% of workers say they have trouble finding documentation. When it's all seamlessly integrated into your virtual reality headset, these problems are virtually eliminated. Next, predictive maintenance. It reduces downtime by up to 50%, and it also solves the problem where 70% of the time on the old time-based system, there's no problem found at all. Finally, predictive maintenance is great, but it can lead to false positives, and those can result in incorrect actions and additional costs. So before you get to that stage, you have the ability to diagnose on the spot in real time to avoid operation interruptions.
So before we move on to the business plan, I'd just like to give a quick history about L3 and Harris. Prior to their merger, L3 was created to adopt divisions from Lockheed, and Harris's growth is due fundamentally to the smart acquisitions and mergers. Now, my colleagues have provided you with a technologically advanced solution, and I'm here to revolutionize the business plan as well. With acquisitions being a key part in L3Harris's dominance, it makes complete sense to actually acquire C3AI. This provides the pinnacle of predictive maintenance in the category. However, this comes at a cost of $2.3 billion. While alarming at first, this is fractional compared to L3Harris's buying capacity and operational activity. Moving on, we need to touch about the business model. L3 will continue to dominate in its previous sectors through delivering on their exceptional defense contracts. However, the C3AI supercharged pod system will now be able to increase operational readiness, efficiency, reduce downtime, and overall drop operational costs not only for L3Harris, but also the clients. Moving on, we have a financial snapshot. Of the attractive options available for L3Harris, this pod system enables them to act on 5 contracts. These 5 contracts will net them a modest $550 million over 10 years at a cost of $460. This results in a 10-year EPS of $6, or on a yearly basis, an 8% boost based on a 3% one-time investment. The total capex for this project, including acquisition, is around $3 billion, including the project cost, implementation, and other key numbers that we will go to shortly. This is just a quick overview of the financial statements with more in-depth in the index. Just a quick note that the financial metrics were derived from internal numbers and ratios provided by Harris, as well as the assumptions are made conservatively, as we do want to stress that this option, the pod system, will make L3Harris money right now, but it really sets them up for permanent enhanced operations. Now, by the numbers, really quickly to break down some key costs, the HoloLenses will cost around $22,500 each, either bought through Microsoft or through a development strategy by the very talented engineers. The dev cycle will cost them about $12 million, and all in all, we aim to cut the $25,000 a year productivity cost across the fleet. Training integration adds about 40 hours at a cost, and then the rest go to legal, purchasing, administration, which are non-recurring and fixed costs. Lastly, the solution we are providing is a digital solution on inexpensive hardware, and we hope to use this to provide accurate maintenance, thus boosting the sustainability of both L3Harris's components as well as the end-term user. Lastly, by providing this enhanced pod system, L3Harris's mass division will be able to continue to dominate in their delivery to grave ISS solutions.
So how do our stakeholders benefit? We can see that Command is able to better monitor their inventory, they can see operational readiness immediately from the IoT data, and they are as well able to reduce their costs and administration. Technical specialists are now able to serve a wider variety of clients in more specialized areas through being able to give support from anywhere in the world, and our on-site technicians are able to solve more complex technical issues in a shorter amount of time. So what is our timeline for the overall implementation? In the first 3 years, it required the acquisition of IP and bringing in of good talent to develop the technological infrastructure and the technological implementation for machine learning and IoT and AR. By year 4, pilot trials and early adopters will already be starting and implemented into their solutions. From years 5 to 7, this solution will scale and be able to provide enough support to entrench L3Harris's ISS pod system with a dominant market position. And years 8 to 10 will have the pod system already innovating again with the new emerging technologies of tomorrow. What are some risks? We've identified a variety of risks, including cyber attack, which is a major issue for a platform such as this. We found the best way to mitigate this is to implement both a combination of open source and proprietary defense solutions. And what are our future plans? Overall, we understand that through reducing already readiness or maintenance by 2.5 hours per day and reducing the overall maintenance by 50%, there are a variety of places we can continue to develop into to maximize revenue, promote safety, and even implement other emerging technologies such as 3D printing. This pod system is now ready to shape the future of ISS, and we hope that we can join you on that journey. Thank you very much, and we are Renaissance Consulting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We may now proceed with the